I just finished week 5 of The Artist Way, and it's really late right now, but if I don't record this right now, I'm not gonna do it, or it's not gonna be fresh in my head, so bear with me. This week was titled Recovering a Sense of Possibility, and I feel like, actually last week I already felt like things were moving in the right direction. Always the same thing, I'm doing the reading and I'm like, how the hell does she know what I'm feeling already? She starts talking about how at this point, a lot of people start seeing change in their life. And now I don't know if this is just me noticing the good because she's telling me to look for it. But I feel like before I did the reading for this week, I already was like, even in last week's video, I was like, things are moving the right direction. Or things are moving in the way that I wanted them to for a really long time. And somehow they're happening now. We talk about synchronicities and allowing yourself to believe that the universe is not scarce. I don't know if I say this word right. I love that word, scarcity. Scarcity mindset. Yeah, scarce. Basically, stop putting limitations to what the universe, God, any entity that you believe in can provide for you. There's not a limited resource of happiness and opportunity and growth and love that you have to dig into, and that if you take too much of, you won't you'll run out of. I feel like that's something that I and a lot of people probably fall into, which is like being scared when things are too good because it means that something bad is gonna happen or that your luck is gonna run out. And we just have to get rid of that mindset, because if you believe that the opportunities are limited, you're not gonna allow yourself to capture them or to give yourself fully to them. Munchkin finished his dinner. Hello. Was it yummy? My little monkey. But yeah, I just keep noticing that, and all the positive things that are happening in my career are things that I allowed myself to let in. Like the fact that I just got a manager for content creation after not having a manager for years, and I feel like that was limiting my opportunities because I wasn't doing as much outreach as I could have, or as someone who already has a network would be able to. It was also limiting my bandwidth and my time and my energy, because if I spend my entire day negotiating or reading contracts or answering emails, I don't have as much time to be creative and to focus on sunny days. So I'm really grateful for that, but I also allowed myself to have that conversation and to let that possibility in. So I think that's something that I gained from the course. I'm also getting to the point where I think I'm getting appreciative of the morning pages. She talked about something and I was like, ma'am, what the hell? She says, have you discovered the 1.5-page truth point yet? And I feel like I mentioned that in one of my earlier videos, or at least I've told my friends about it when I talk about this, is that the 3 pages that she makes you write as morning pages every morning is such a magical number, because at the end of the 2nd page, or maybe midway through the 2nd page, I start feeling like I'm making strides, and that the venting that I was initially journaling about turns into realizations and things that are actually helping me discover things about myself and not fix issues, but see things differently. And the fact that she says, have you experienced the 1.5-page truth point yet? That's crazy. But yeah, I think now I'm appreciative of the morning pages. I feel like it's a nice, slow morning routine. And I feel like I also now allow myself to, like, if I compare, I mean, I'm not going to show you, but my handwriting at first was neat. Like someone who wants to read the morning pages back, even though she said you're not supposed to. Now my handwriting is horrifying, but at least I write faster. It's more a stream of consciousness, and I feel like it's less performative in a way. I think a lot of people don't love journaling because sometimes when you journal, especially when you first start journaling, it almost feels like you have to write things that you would be okay with other people reading. I mean, I think it's natural. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or be perceived as someone that you are not, but that is limiting. It defeats the purpose of the stream of consciousness morning pages journaling, which is to let your raw thoughts out on paper so that you're able to process them. I think I finally got over that point where I'm not going to read my morning pages, and surely no one else will. I hope. Well, no. Maybe one day they'll be published. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But that has allowed me to be so much more honest with myself about some situations that I have in my life. And because I've been more honest with myself, I've been able to be more honest with others. And I've been able to set boundaries and walk away from situations that I didn't like to be in, but that I previously would have put up with because people pleaser, and because I didn't even take the time to realize I didn't like those situations, because I was pretending that everything was fine and that everyone is great and that I don't need to make any changes, which is silly. I'm very grateful I was able to let go of someone that I feel like I was holding on to for too long, and it's just a good feeling, like freedom. Another thing that also kind of has to do with the journaling is what she calls the virtue trap. It's basically the idea that as people and as creatives, you believe that you have to be nice and to take care of everyone's feelings in order for them to like you. And so you get locked up in this trap trying to please other people and not allowing yourself to tap into what you actually want to do, or take time alone, because you have to be nice, you have to be respectful, you have to be good. The first week or the second week, I was journaling a lot about my fear of not being a good person. And I think that's the feeling that I had. I just wanted so badly to make people happy or help people and not be selfish that it became something that made me anxious. Every opportunity I had to do something that made me happy, if I took it, I felt selfish, and that made me a bad person. So I'm unlearning that. And I feel like I've done a lot of progress on that in the past few weeks. The one piece of feedback that I've always gotten in every single job that I've ever had was, you're being too nice. And it has its advantages, because when I worked in corporate in management consulting, a lot of my bosses and partners and people who were really high up came to me for client relationship management. They knew that the clients that we had on projects liked me, would talk to me, or would accept things from me. So even though I was super junior, I would be put on very client-facing positions and roles just to kind of appease the relationship. But the flip side is that I was a pushover in certain ways. If someone asked me to work late or to do something, I would do it. That's somewhat good in interpersonal relationships, and also very bad for your own personal career and development and the resentment thing. One of the reasons I quit my corporate job, of course I wanted to do creative work, but I loved my job. I loved being in consulting, but I think I was on a project that I did not like for 6 or 7 months. And at the time, I had only been on shorter projects, like 3 months, which I loved a lot more. The whole reason I wanted to go into consulting and not in-house to do strategy work is because I was interested in jumping from project to project and not working on the same company, the same branding guidelines, the same values all the time. And so the more I got stuck on this longer project that was also super operations related, it was not fun. It was return to office during COVID, like basically trying to convince people at this investment bank that they had to come back because bosses wanted to come back, even though productivity had not gone down when people started working from home. But I got stuck on this project because the client loved me and he was super senior at this huge bank. That meant that they were paying a lot of money to my company, my consultancy, to have teams. And so a lot of it was relying on me staying and me entertaining that relationship. And I feel like I was proud of it. And I felt like that gave me purpose at work and that people valued me a lot, because I had to prove myself all the time because I was always younger than everyone. So having this advantage or something that made me feel valuable was very reassuring. But the resentment started building. I would cry every day because I was doing tasks and interacting with people that I didn't want to be interacting with. It just wasn't the work that I was there to do. Also, it's very weird to do such introspective work and like look at my own memories when Los Angeles is such a crazy place. This probably isn't the right place for me to talk about it, but I'm so disappointed might not be the right word because I'm not surprised, but in the way our administration has been handling not only these deportations and the whole ICE situation, but also our right to protest and do so peacefully, which is just feeding the narrative that these protests have been riots when they were not until anyway. But yeah, it is a bit hard to, like, I feel selfish doing this, and then I'm trying to unlearn feeling selfish. Anyways, let's go into some of the exercises because I feel like there are some fun ones this week. It's always making lists, but I feel like I love making lists. I'm a Capricorn, but I feel like making lists is the easiest way to drag memories out from your subconscious that you might not remember. What would I try if it weren't too crazy or selfish? Traveling alone instead of offering for friends or family to come. Spending more time alone. I also wrote the singing classes, the acting classes. I can't do this every week and then never do them. It's just so expensive. Move back to New York City. Wow, I was in the mood when I wrote that. I don't know if I want to move back. Every time I'm in New York City, I feel like I want to move back because I miss the feeling. But then when I'm back in LA, I'm like, I like it here. The Virtue Trap quiz. It's a fill in the blank. The biggest lack in my life is, I wrote bravery or confidence, which is crazy because I feel like a lot of people who don't know me or who know me through social media come to me asking me how I'm so confident. And I do feel confident, and it's odd that this is what comes out. Maybe it's the acting thing? I don't know. The greatest joy in my life is spending time with others. And I just said I would want to spend more time alone. You make no sense. My largest time commitment is my work. I feel guilty that I am lazy. I'm not lazy, but it has been my biggest thing lately is that I feel like I'm not doing enough. And so the word that comes is like, you're lazy. And it's so destructive because I am not lazy. I literally overwork myself, but because the outcome isn't what I want it to be, I guess the blame I find is laziness. I'm not lazy. What the? I worry that I don't have a future. I swear I'm in a good mood. If my dreams come true, my family will be happy for me. That one was good. If I let myself feel it, I'm angry that I lose control. Lose control. Huh? This one was interesting. It's called Forbidden Joys. It's basically asking you to list 10 things that you would love to do, but you're not allowing yourself to do. Disappear off social media for a month. That's my job. But how do people do that? I always admire when creators are like, I'm going to take a break. I'm like, how much money have you saved up that you're not worried about the next 3 months if you stop working now? Hi, Munchkin. I know I'm rambling. I wrote text someone who I have not spoken to and I probably shouldn't speak to, but I wrote that. I feel like I've had that thought more lately as I feel like I'm making strides because that relationship didn't end in the best way or in a way that I feel is authentic to who I am. So I've had thoughts about texting that person, not to reconnect, but just to, I don't know. Like nothing I would say or hear from that person would change anything. It's just personal. I feel like some of them I probably don't need to do. Spend on a hotel room. I love hotels. I've always had the dream as a kid, and that probably stems from my love for travel and interior design. I've always wanted to have a hotel. Like that was always my dream as a child, to end up retiring and owning either one boutique hotel or a bunch of little hotels. As much as I love hotels, I never stay at hotels because I feel like it's so much more expensive than Airbnbs or now the home exchange app that I've been using. So I never allow myself to spend on a hotel room, but I love hotels so much that it brings me so much joy, and it could be market research. Bubba, that's spooky. There's no one here. This is him growling at himself, by the way, because he can see himself in the screen. Bubba, that's you. Hello? I'll never understand. He always does that in front of the mirror. I'm like, girl, you don't see that he keeps doing the same thing as you? So, spend on a hotel room. Oh no. He's not barking at himself. He's barking at the void, and that scares me. He always does that at night. He'll look at a corner in the room and bark at it. Like there's a spirit. Learn to skydive. That one was cool. If I were 20 and money was not a concern, list 5 adventures. Oh my god, I'm so annoying. I read ventures when I did the exercise. And I wrote travel influencer. Okay, period. House flipper. Angel investor. Okay. I did not understand the exercise. And then if I were 65 and had money, list 5 postponed pleasures. So things that you probably wouldn't have done by that time that you're ready to do. I wrote traveling, resting, spending time with my family, investing in younger talent, and tasting food. Why would that be postponed? I'm already tasting delicious foods. Come on. Then you had to write 10 ways that you are mean to yourself. It's so repetitive, but I feel like the repetition is because I'm figuring these things out and they come out so naturally. I wrote calling myself lazy, not taking time off work, skipping the gym. I skipped the gym today because I was busy with work, and that's already an excuse. Skipping meals. I skipped a meal today because I wasn't hungry, but that's not good to yourself. Not enjoying my wins. Whenever something good happens, I don't even realize it. I just move on to the next task. Not being proud of myself. That's probably similar. Comparing myself to others when there's nothing to compare. Assuming the worst about how people view me. I had a conversation with my best friend Jesse, who was telling me about, I think, some friends of his that don't know me but that know of me through him and through content, I guess. The way he was talking about how they viewed me surprised me a lot because it was very positive and very kind. And I don't know, I just realized, like, oh my God, I would not have described myself like that at all. And I see it, like, when he explained to me why they thought certain things. I don't know why it's so hard to see the good in yourself. Not having boundaries. This one I'm feeling better about. And treat needs like inconveniences. I think sometimes I just feel like my needs are background noise. Then it asks, what is your payoff for staying blocked? Like, what do you think you're getting out of not tapping into your full creative self or doing those things that you're not allowing yourself to do? And I wrote, avoiding failure or being perceived as a failure. And that's for sure part of it. For sure it's part of it. I think part of it is the financial aspect. Like, I don't allow myself to do a lot of things because I want to save money. But also, I don't want to try new things because I'm scared that I'm going to look bad. Or like dancing, acting, singing. Like, these are all things that I could do without spending a lot of money, but I don't allow myself to do because what if I embarrass myself? I don't care. Well, maybe not right now. And I think that's about it for this week. I feel like I've been all over the place, but I'm tired. But I'm happy that we're still going and we're about to hit the halfway mark in a week. I'm taking a lot longer to do it than you're supposed to, but I let go of that pressure because I'm doing this for me and not to tick something off my to-do list. So I will do it on my own timing. Next week is recovering a sense of abundance. And I'm actually very excited for that because I need that. Now let me take my ass to bed. All right, bye.